Hi guys, welcome back to the Yorkshire Modeller. We've now got issue 7 of the Hachette Partworks Spitfire. So issue 7, we're getting the first parts for the engine supercharger. So we're getting quite a few details for that here. Now we don't attach it to anything in this issue. So I've got all the parts already kind of all here, and I've got the glue just there as well. So let's get these instructions all set up. So, right. So we've got supercharger covers 1 and 2, back of the supercharger, tank tubing, and then supercharger detail, which is parts 7.5, 7.6 and 7.7. So the tip here says you may find that some of the pieces are a tight fit and you need to clear paint from the pegs or holes. Fine sandpaper or round file are recommended. So I've got just a little needle file, that'll do the job absolutely fine. So first two parts we get are the front and back of the supercharger cover, which are this one and this one. So these are, as you could hear there, these are cast metal. I can't get these out of the pot. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll tip all the bits out. So it feels like all the parts in this issue are actually cast metal, which is nice. So let's put all them there, put that there, put those there. Done. Right. So these two parts here are the two parts that we need first. So the ones that look like a little cog with the holes in there, and then the one with the holes, whoops, sorry, just there as well. So what we're doing is the 3 little pins just on this part here are matching up to the 3 holes there, but you've got to make sure that that bit, so if I show you from the side, where it's like flat there, has to sit against that part just there, which is obviously flat as well. So we'll just test the fit of these first, so they fit together nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dab of glue in each of these holes. One there, and then one just there. A little bit more in that one. There we go. And then making sure those 2 exit points are lined up. Push that all together. So that's the main part of the supercharger, the body itself, kind of finished. And that's the instructions for part 1. Now part 2 is take the back of the supercharger, which is this one just here with the 4 little pegs on it, and identify the 3 pegs that fit into the corresponding holes on part 7.2. Note the orientation of this one, which is shown on the right. So where this, let's have a look. So that little piece there has to face with the bottom. So you've got that little kind of, it looks a bit like a cog, but it's not. That has to face down and away from this hole at the top of the supercharger there. So that should go in like that. So where you've got the hole for the supercharger, just at that top part, let's get a better angle on it, just there, that little hole on the back of the supercharger should be facing like straight away. So you've got the hole at the top of the supercharger, and then you've got the hole at the bottom down there. So and check the fit and excess paint if necessary. Apply a little glue to the 3 pegs and fit the parts together. The image on the right shows the parts correctly assembled. So as long as you keep referring back to the pictures, if you need to, you'll be absolutely fine with this. So that's in there like that. There we go. So that's that part attached all on there. Right then. So pop that off to the side and just leave that just for the glue to dry a little bit. Part 3 is take the pipe shape supercharger details, 5 and 6, which are these two parts just here. And check how the two parts fit together and apply a little adhesive to the pegs on part 5 and fit into the fit together. So that seems to fit all right actually. There's not too much, there's a little bit of movement there but not a lot, so and they appear to be hard to take apart as well, these two. And then picks apart, there we go. So a little bit of glue on that one, a little bit of glue on that one, and then what I am going to do is just a tiny bit of glue just on the actual side parts as well. Just a little bit, because then at least it's going to sit just that little bit better when it's all together. There you go. And then any excess glue just wipe away before it dries. So that's that tube there. Whoopsie, all done. And then instructions for part 4 are the last remaining black part, which is this little kind of hexagonal, not hexagonal one, this kind of like little rounded ones on both sides, and then the tank tubing. So the instructions say, one at a time, take the tank tubing part 7.4 and check the fit in the sockets of the base section 7.7. Apply a little super glue to the peg on the bottom of the first part 7.4 and fix in place. You'll need to hold the tubing in place while the glue dries. So these pipes are made to sit at an angle, so they'll kind of sit like an old-fashioned TV aerial. Whoops, there we go. So yeah, they'll sit like an old-fashioned TV aerial when they're done. So dab of glue just on there, spread that around there, and then it needs to face away from the centre. That's that way around, like that. So that's that one in, just there. So then we'll just check the fit on the other side. Make sure that fits. Yep, that's nice, snug fit, same as the other one was. A little bit of glue on that one. Make sure I get this one lined up right. There we go. So they're level, just checking, they're level that way. Oh, try again, James, that way, just there. And they're on the right way around there as well. So that's step 4 done. Step 5 is the two pegs on the underside of part 7.7, which are those two pegs just there. If you can see them on the camera, just about make them out just there. Fit into the corresponding sockets on the top of the back of the supercharger. Note that one side of part 7 has angled rather than rounded sides, circled. And inset. These should face outwards when the part is attached. When you're happy with the fit, add a little super glue to the pegs and glue in place. Right, so what it's getting at here is, on this actual part here, you can kind of make it out there, but these top bits here are kind of flat and then flat and flat, whereas at the bottom it's just totally rounded. So just having another look at the instructions, note that one side has angled sides. These should face outwards. So the angled sides must face away from this supercharger itself when they're glued in place. So that should sit in there like that. Let me just double check that's right. 2 pegs on the other side of part 7. Fit into the corresponding sockets on the top. Note that one side of part 7 has angled sides. These should face outwards when the part is attached. Yeah, that's it. So the angled sides face away, the rounded sides face in towards the supercharger. So I know that fits in there nicely. I'll just take that off. Put a dab of glue on these pegs. And just the same as the last one as well, just a little bead of glue just along the edges of this part just here. Might be a little bit too much there, I'm just going to try and get some of that off. There we go. And then angled sides facing out, so that will go that way in. Clips in there like that. So that's that all attached just there, and then the tube goes into that superstructure. I'm going on to the Bismarck now all of a sudden. The pipe that we did earlier on just fits into that little hole just on the top of the supercharger just there. So, and that fits in towards the 2 tube pipes that we've just attached. So make sure that fits in properly. Right, just give me a minute, I'll be right back. Right, so it looks like the tabs on this pipe and the hole don't quite match up because there's a bit too much paint. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of this paint off. That's the side I've already started. I'm going to just take a little bit of this paint off just to try and make it a bit of an easier and slightly smaller surface. Check it again. That's a little bit of a better fit, but it's not quite there yet. So there we go. So that is a very, very, very snug fit. So I'm not going to take that back out to glue it in. That has now got enough tension on it that should actually hold quite nicely. It says apply a little super glue to the tabs on parts 7.5 and 7.6 and fix in place. But to be honest, that is such a tight fit in there, that's never going to come out anyway. So that is part 7 of the Spitfire. Finish the build for this week. So we've got it all there as well, just so you can have a good look at how it all looks when it's together. With issue 8, we get the more parts for Supercharger and some details for the engine. So it looks like we get some metal parts there, and then we get a couple of plastic sprues as well. So we've got the Supercharger and we've got the engine. So the Supercharger inevitably will fit into those 4 little holes just on that side there. So that will most likely go in that way around, I'm guessing. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the engine when it's all starting to get finished. So yeah, please remember to like, share and subscribe to the Yorkshire Modeller for more weekly model building geekiness. I have got issues 8, 9 and 10 of the Spitfire. They'll be up for the next few Sundays. And I've also got the next 4 issues of the Bismarck as well, so they should be up for the next 4 Saturdays. Just waiting on the F40 coming in, and then we'll have everything. But yeah, until next time guys, remember, happy modelling, stay safe.